Welcome to lecture number 38. Today we are focusing on historical topic 4.10, the Second Great Awakening. The theme is American and regional culture. The learning objective is simply explain the causes of the Second Great Awakening. There is only one key concept, and it is the rise of democratic and individualistic beliefs, a response to rationalism, and changes to society caused by the market revolution, along with greater social and geographical mobility, contributed to a Second Great Awakening among Protestants. The Second Great Awakening was a Protestant Christian religious revival, which also leads to the creation of new denominations. The Mormon Church started in the late 1820s by Joseph Smith in New York and spread westward. Based on their theology, they were viewed as suspect when many of them settled in one place, and often were expelled from states like Missouri and Illinois. Millerites followed William Miller, who predicted the Second Coming was just around the corner in the 1840s. Suffice to say, it didn't happen, and most of his followers termed the non-event the Great Disappointment, and rejoined their previous Christian sects. The revivals were similar to the First Great Awakening and consisted of thousands of followers. They held camp meetings in rural areas that brought communities together for worship. The first two causes of the Second Great Awakening include democratic and individualistic beliefs. Worshippers were attracted to a less formal, more participatory service, which feels like everyone is equal and everyone's participation is important. Timothy Dwight was an early Second Great Awakening preacher that closely tied religious piety in America with the survival of the country's democratic institutions. Another accomplishment is that he served as mentor to one of the most renowned Second Great Awakening preachers, Charles Gunderson Finney. The response to rationalism and emergence of transcendentalism is also present in religious culture. There's a similarity here between transcendentalism focusing on the individual as there is in the Second Great Awakening focusing on the individual religious experience. New services are focused more on emotion and experience on salvation as opposed to the logic and theology. Experience of the individual was much more heavily emphasized. Methodist preacher Peter Cartwright was one such preacher that focused on the individual's emotion. He is most similar to the First Great Awakening preacher George Whitefield in that he traveled some of the longest distances and as such gave people across a large geography a shared experience. The effects of the market revolution also brought about the Second Great Awakening. There was a reaction to the growing materialism and sin associated with greed that preachers claimed came out of the market revolution. As people spend more of their time at work, there is a sense that they are losing their moral fiber. In the top picture, people coming and going from factories to their houses look less energetic and worn down from their daily toils. The perception is that they are only devoting their entire life to work in the pursuit of money, so it is that life of sin that needed to change. Protestant preachers were exposing them for devoting so much of their time and their thoughts to getting more money. Finally, social and geographical mobility played a part in the Second Great Awakening. Just as people saw that they could move up economically through different generations, they saw that through hard work and devotion, they could also attain salvation. Charles Grandison Finney is probably the most important of the preachers from the Second Great Awakening, and he was most popular in New York. All of the counties that he traveled and preached in are in red in the map of the state of New York. They were referred to as the burnt-over district, because a lot of his sermons warned people about the imminence of hell if they do not change their sinful ways and repent. So all of the talk about the fires of hell was enough to burn over the region. Alright, so a quick recap. The Great Awakening is another religious revival reinforcing Protestant ideas and creating new denominations. It is similar to the First Great Awakening in the 18th century. And finally, the causes for the Second Great Awakening were the market revolution, the growing middle class, democratic sentiment, and a response to rationalism. Thank you for watching. If you would like to watch the next lecture, you can click on the video link on the screen, and if you're looking for more practice to help you on the AP exam, you can visit apushslides.com. I wish you the very best in all of your studying and look forward to seeing you back on the next lecture.